Oh, hi there. Oh, I see. You're probably wondering where the corny skit is, right? Well, there's none. We promise nothing. But I am here to tell you a little special something something. This is a part 1 and a part 2, folks. That's right. Our very first two-parter. Oh yeah, I'm excited. I feel tingles. Not really. I just didn't want to make it all in one video. It would seem like it's too long. So part 1, we're going to review Daredevil, Jessica Jones, those Netflix Marvel shows. And then part 2, we're going to play Fix That Movie. It's a new game that we started playing. They're going to be split up the two, so make sure you click on the second part if you like the games that we play. You should definitely check out Fix That Movie. We had a lot of fun playing it. And for the first time, Zub will be on the show. So, yeah, it's gonna be a good one, folks. Make sure you listen to part 2 after you listen to this one, part 1. So, welcome to the We Promise Nothing show, where me and my distinguished guests review movies, TV shows, play games, and do lots of bad skits for you to listen to for your YouTube listening pleasure. So, without further ado, bring on thy music. This is Jpar, and you are listening to the We Promise Nothing show. Today on the show, we have Myles, we have Zub Da Boo, and for the first time, we have Zub. But before we get things started, I'd just like to remind everyone that the music on the show is brought to you by SoundsLikeAnEarful.com. If you need great music for your podcast, check them out. SoundsLikeAnEarful.com. Now, this week, we review Netflix's Daredevil. Season 2 is what we're mainly going to review, but we're going to quickly touch upon Daredevil, Season 1, and Jessica Jones as well, which is also a part of this MCU that you might hear about so much on our show. But before we get into that, everyone around the table say hi.
Hey guys, Da Boo here.
Hello everybody, it's Myles.
Good evening, it's Zub.
Alright, so we're going to talk about Daredevil, Netflix's Daredevil. We're not going to be talking about that awful abomination that Ben Affleck was in, Daredevil, if you recall, back, when was that, 2003? We promised nothing, folks. I didn't look to see when that was, because you know what, it's not even relevant anymore, because this was just better. It makes you just forget that one even existed. And now that we see Ben Affleck as Batman, we just kind of pretend that Daredevil isn't a thing. So, Boo, what do you think of Daredevil?
Oh, he's something already. Actually, I was very shocked at how dark it quickly went, but I kind of expected it at the same time. I guess for me, it was just shocking at how fast it became. I think I'm kind of going both ways here. I guess for me, it was simply said, Daredevil becoming, I think the main Daredevil we've always expected him to be, the one who's always based on his instincts. He was always natural at his abilities, and I guess you could say for me, I was really anxious to get him and Elektra in the same scene, because those two really fed off each other in terms of their energy. And speaking of which, I felt like even right since season 1, our Daredevil actor, sorry, I don't know his name.
Charlie Cox.
Thank you. He had done such a great job at actually making me convinced that this was very much Daredevil, right from day one, I guess is what it is. I didn't have a hard time accepting him for what he was. So right from the beginning, it was this consistent evolution of him becoming, I guess, the Daredevil. I guess for me, that's what season 2 was ultimately. The bigger thrill was Daredevil, and new version.
Right. So, like you said, very much you see more of his abilities this time, or maybe just the way we really picture him, the way we would want to see him. Very ninja-like in this series, I find maybe more comparison to the original. Now, for people who don't know who Daredevil is, just give you a little background. He's another Marvel character. And his first appearance was in Daredevil #1, which came out in April 1964. He's created by Stan Lee and Bill Everett. This series, Daredevil on Netflix, is created by Drew Goddard. Stars Charlie Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio. That's a hard one to say.
D'Onofrio, that's Kingpin.
Yes, that's Kingpin. Deborah Ann Woll, Eldon Henson, and Jur Benthal later appears in season 2 as the Punisher.
Say Jur or John?
What did I say? John? John Bernthal?
I heard Jur.
Okay, well, I meant to say John, so thanks for correcting me. If I totally was wrong, I don't know. I guess I'll go back and listen later. So Matt Murdock, he's blinded when he's a young child in a chemical spill and a freak accident. Instead of limiting him, it actually gives him superhuman senses that enable him to see the world in a unique and powerful way. Now he uses these powers to deliver justice. Not only as a lawyer in his own law firm, but also as a vigilante at night, stalking the streets of Hell's Kitchen as Daredevil, the man without fear. Zub, you want to tell us what you think of Daredevil on Netflix?
Well, basically, from day one, it made me feel like maybe totally erased that Abomination was of the movie. Totally,
The Ben Affleck one.
The only thing that they have in common is the title. And that's basically it. Everything else was like what it should have been from the get-go. And I applaud Marvel with Netflix. I know that they're going through a grittier tone than what they had in the movies. And it showed in Daredevil. The choreography, thank you, was like just like you
It's
expect
spectacular
from like a big
in the
budget
first
movie.
one.
And even the second one too.
Yes.
Because with John Bernthal's character with the Punisher, like that was a fantastic hire. Like I don't know if anyone of you guys watched Walking Dead.
Yeah. Totally liked him as Shane. Just played such a twisted villain. But he was, he was kind of a good guy at first. So you just see the transformation of Shane going crazy with John Bernthal played well. He also played in Fury. He also played a kind of fucked up kind of character in there.
Yeah, he was good in that.
He was a good antagonizer in that movie as well. I actually enjoy his acting.
Oh, and can I just mention a little brief trivia? I see the credit there. I forget their character's name. His business partner in the law firm.
Yes, Eldon Henson.
Eldon Henson.
Used to be in the Mighty Ducks.
Oh.
Is that what you were going to say?
Womp womp.
Oh, sorry.
There goes my thunder.
Shit. Sorry.
I'm in a table of geeks. I should have known that.
Yeah.
So
I got a fact that's going to trump that fact.
All right, go ahead.
Deborah Ann Woll, so the assistant, whatever she is, she's actually married to a blind guy in real life.
Oh, for reals?
Whoa.
You can't even write that stuff.
Whoa!
Nice.
So it really hits home for her. I think she probably has a better idea of how to be around somebody without eyesight. So then it just gives her a little bit more.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Deborah Ann Moore, I just find everyone's a really great actor in here, but except for Charlie Cox, he's not the best. I'm not saying he's bad, but compared to the other actors in the show, I find they're really good, and he's kind of like, he's okay.
So what you're saying, he's not blind?
I'm just saying he's not good at playing blind.
Mind blown. Yeah.
That would be my one critique of the show, and I do enjoy the show. It's very good. It is gritty, and it gives you the ninja Daredevil that you want to see. And as Boo said, the transformation from this ninja into the devil in Hell's Kitchen.
I love the fact you guys brought up the fact that it's grittier than what the movies are. They're completely different directions, art style-wise, And for me, that was the most. For me, if I hadn't to anticipate anything that was really worth looking forward to, was the merging of these worlds, because it's almost like the same as we had seen with Superman and Batman come together. Right. Two different types of worlds, like happy and sad coming together, drastically. And I kind of felt like this was what we were going to see with Daredevil coming into this universe. But I don't know how they're going to do that. They're going to be careful there.
Well, so are you going to be talking about like with the TV universe going into movie universe? Because it seems like they're always bouncing back and forth, saying yes, saying no.
They acknowledge each other. That's as far as it goes.
I think eventually it is going to happen, but they're going to wait until maybe like Infinity War to maybe finally unleash them. Mm-hmm. It's like, Thanos needs to kill some villains, needs to kill some heroes off. He's like, their series are done now, so we can wipe them out. You know.
My voice is Jessica, or my vote is Jessica Jones.
Why, you didn't like Jessica Jones? You didn't like that series, or what?
Uh,
We'll get into that in one second.
I think we all have something to say about
We'll get
Jessica
into that
Jones.
in just 1 second.
That's what you call a teaser.
Myles, so you like the grittiness of this compared to the MCU that you generally see in the Avengers type movies?
I do. I really like the dark undertones that they go for, and I always like how Daredevil fights to the bone. Like tooth and nail. You think he's about to...
I think there's one scene that we all have in our mind. It's the very end of the second episode of the first season where he just fights back and forth with all those guys when he's saving that kid. Yeah. And he goes back and forth fighting those guys in that hallway. I think everyone they first saw Daredevil and they saw that scene, it just took their breath away. They're just like, whoa, this is different.
Oh, yeah.
It's like he just did a marathon.
This ain't no Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, well, that's without saying. That show should have been canceled a long time ago.
I don't even know how it's still going.
I do. It's called money.
Yeah,
Marvel just keeps pumping money because they
Disney.
have an idea. Mm-hmm. Okay, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to fill the gap between movies. That was the original idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's not very fluid at all.
They briefly mentioned, like, I don't know if anyone's seen, I know it's a little off topic, but seen the season finale.
I haven't.
I don't follow it anymore.
I haven't followed it from the beginning. I just watched the 2-hour finale because it had that whole who's going to be killed off thing. And
you're saying, yeah.
And they also talked about Civil War.
Yes.
Oh.
It's supposed to have a Civil War tie-in of some kind.
Yeah, they talked about the Accords twice. Sorry, spoiler alert. Accords twice, and they talked about the...
That's how we use spoilers around here anyways. You already fit right in.
Yeah.
We just say it and it's like, spoiler! Sorry.
Yeah.
Too late.
Warning later.
Exactly. Death of Peggy Carter. That's it. I saved you 2 hours right there.
Oh.
I know.
Characters I didn't even know.
Peggy Carter?
Oh, Peggy Carter?
Like it's an Agent Carter.
Agent Carter.
That's Civil War.
I think.
But they tie it in with.
Oh, okay.
What's ironic is that they just canceled Agent Carter too. So not only is she dead in the movies now,
yeah,
her show is dead.
But
okay. Well,
that's still trying to revive
that's why it's a good character
Netflix,
to kill off.
Yep.
I heard they're trying to revive it on Netflix.
Okay, that's one more second before we get into that.
Right. Sorry.
So
I'm the newbie.
Well, no, you're actually making up some very good points, but I want to slowly get to that point.
Right.
So let's Daredevil season 1. What's this rank in like show wise? Like how is this rank as a show? The first season.
Out of 5?
Just doesn't have to be out of 5. You can just tell me if you like really. You could say out of 5. I guess we can quickly give them. We'll quickly give Daredevil and Jessica Jones a quick rating.
So talking season 1 here.
But we're really gonna review season 2 once we quickly get these out of the way.
We're trying to compare the two.
Daredevil season 1. Give me a quick rating. Go.
I'll let you go, Myles.
I'll give it a 3.5. Do you want an explanation behind it?
You can give an explanation if you want.
The action and choreography and story are A1. The acting for me is not very good at all. Like you said, Charlie Cox, I hate to say it, if he's the lead, he is the worst actor on the show. Holy moly. I can't handle his acting. He's too quiet, he's too subtle, you gotta turn the volume up when he's talking. And then everybody else kind of foggy for me.
I like Foggy.
And then Deborah. Ooh,
I like her too.
I don't like it.
I think they're really
like
good actors, them two.
I don't.
Okay.
I find that they're too kiddish, or
what do you think of the Kingpin?
They don't know what emotion they're.
What do you think of the Kingpin?
Kingpin was awesome.
The best.
Oh, he's definitely the best actor.
He saved that show for me. I was starting to it's a lot of action, not my kind of acting, and then Vincent D'Onofrio's dark, twisted.
I love I love when it suddenly took a turn. Spoiler alert. And it kind of goes into this time. I said it before, and it kind of goes into like Kingpin's backstory, and you learn about his abusive father.
That was the back half of the second part of the
first season.
Once you saw that episode and you saw that insight to that character, you're just like, fuck.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were teasing it throughout the whole season, right? But then they led up to it, and he killed the. Oh, sorry, spoiler alert! He killed the reporter. Basically, to tie up all the loose ends with his mom. Oh, spoiler alert again.
We don't have to keep saying it at this point.
Okay, sorry, spoiler alert.
One for the road.
Just for you, Jay. Okay, but no, okay. Rating, I would say 3 out of 5 too. The only thing I would say, it started off a little bit slow, like in between episodes, but the beginning and then the end was fantastic. Kingpin was amazing. Fight scenes were amazing.
So Daredevil season 1, what do you give it?
Yeah, 3 out of 5. And I'd say when it compares to any other TV show superhero, it's night and day. It's like anybody watch superheroes, pay $7.99, $8.99, $8.99. Get Netflix, watch those. Don't bother with the CW stuff or the. Oh, I said it.
Shots fired.
And also Disney, Marvel, ABC shows.
Oh, don't bother with the ABC.
Yeah,
ones,
ABC.
no.
Yeah.
Boo. So where do you rate
So
this?
we got a 3.5 and we got a.
Yeah,
3.
they're kind
Wow.
of being a little harsh, I feel.
Honestly, I don't know. If I had to rate the first season, I kind of felt like it might have been maybe 3.5, but I feel more like a 4 now. I'll say why. I actually did really enjoy Daredevil as a character, and I think it had to do with the subtleties that you're worrying about. Are you talking about how audible he was?
Yes.
Is that what it comes down to?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, well,
I know he's a British person trying to do an American accent, so I know there's that always in the back of their head. So there's going to be some weird verbal stuff. But
the way they pronunciate.
But then again, if you think about it, I mean,
I just find that the characters have a
never
hard
mind.
time expressing feeling or emotion. Like the emotion that they're talking
I
about doesn't match.
I find Charlie Cox does, but I actually find that the other two, Deborah and Wall, whatever the fuck her name is, and and Eldon Henson, I find they're actually good actors.
I find he's too mature. He's like a grown boy.
Yeah, but
he's like a boy
he
walking
kind of
around.
needs to be. He needs to be that to Matt Murdock's dark, brooding self. He needs to be that light that kind of clings onto him, that Matt can kind of attach himself onto, as you kind of see at the end of the second season when you see he starts getting turned away from his friends. Like, they're not such great friends at the end because of some of the choices that Matt makes, right?
Yeah, well, Deborah Ann Woll, I agree with Myles on the acting because she only has like the one.
So did you give it?
Her characteristics is from the vampire one and
True
HBO,
Blood.
True Blood. She had the same mannerisms and same. If you see that in season 1 of Daredevil 2. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, you guys all make good points.
So, so is it you giving it a 4? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I feel more like a 4, just due to the fact that I felt like it had to do with how much I enjoyed the Daredevil character. I could see some flaws. There were some moments where I felt like the scenes were not as believable, and they might have had to do with the level of strength that maybe could have been that one particular scene. I don't know, but that's something I did see the development of, not only as a character throughout the whole first season, but as his acting skills, kind of developed into something more natural, which could have become, I guess, the Daredevil we see in season 2. That's the part that I really enjoyed. But you guys hit it perfectly before. It was Fisk. Fisk was the driving force of the entire season. You always wanted to see where his schemes would lead up to. You never quite knew what was going to happen next, but that in combination with Murdock just kind of, I guess you could say, establishing himself as a vigilante. He would call himself as such, but he always found himself in that predicament between choosing between whether he was going to take someone's life, which he always told himself he never would, which we all commend. And then we see now in season 2, which it brings up an entirely different story altogether because of, simply said, a character like the Punisher. That brings up a whole new topic. But for me, season 1, 4 out of 5.
All right. I hate to sound like a Marvel fanboy again, but I will give it a 4.5 because I find it does a lot of things different that a lot of the hero, like Zub said, if you should go to this. If you're gonna watch one superhero series, it may as well be this. You may as well ignore the CW stuff and definitely ignore the ABC Marvel stuff. Mm-hmm. It's a little too PG for our PG likes, and just stories I don't find really get to any point. So that's just my opinion.
That's the truth.
Cold hard truth.
Okay, speaking of cold hard truths, I think you guys have some about Jessica Jones, which is the second in the Netflix series, which follows Daredevil. Jessica Jones is a little bit different.
Did we even touch upon season 2?
We're getting right to that.
Okay, so we're going to lead up to
Jessica Jones came up first, didn't it?
All right.
Yeah. There you go. Jessica Jones. Since you have something to say there, Boo, you can go first.
I should be the last, to be honest with you. Okay. Here's what I would think about Jessica Jones, and I have the disadvantage of, I'm assuming everyone here has seen all of season 1. I haven't even seen all of the season, so my perspective was this. I felt like it was a character they were trying too hard to push as a strong female lead, and it turned out to be nothing more than just someone who was quite promiscuous, I might say. Yes, I get
She
that.
was,
Hold on. I get that it became... You like to take over, I get that. But I just feel like with her character, I get that she's, someone who is so powerful. How the hell would you even see themselves touching someone in bed in a very sensual fashion, right? So I get that there's very few people that would be able to be that way with her, right? Leading up to my next... What I'm not too sure if I'm going to be able to deal with is Power Man. I feel like the actor who plays him... I guess on a more personal note,
He's got unbreakable skin,
Yeah, well, whatever. I just felt like that character I had a harder time even grasping more so than Jessica Jones. Jessica kind of, I guess she was like this brooding younger woman who didn't know what the hell, where she fit in the world already, and in here she has these new abilities that make her that much more awkward. That's at least the way I see it anyway. Yes, she's very powerful, and yes, she can do some good with it, but has she really done any good? And then that leads into what the rest of the season was all about, which I don't get the advantage of having seen. So,
once again, for people who don't know, she's a PI with superpowers. I guess she used to be a hero in the comics. They didn't really touch upon it too much in the show. Very
Was she really?
little. Yeah, she used to be a hero, but she retired and she became a PI. Is what she is. She's kind of a alcoholic and a nympho. And yeah, they kind of play on that in this, and so it's dark in a different way than Daredevil. Daredevil was more violent with the blood, which we weren't used to seeing in Marvel, and this one was more sexual. And once again, the more interesting character was the Purple Man, which was the villain, the guy who could control people's minds. And you're just kind of like, okay, well, how is she going to get out of this? And then as it went on, it was kind of interesting, but you're okay, it's going to pick up. And then there was just 2 episodes in the middle that just went, wow. And I was like, what the heck is going on? We got filler going on here. And it's like, I felt like there was like 2 episodes of filler, like, you guys could have killed the Purple Man already if you're going to do it. And should they have even killed the Purple Man? That's another question, because he did a great job. Can't remember the guy's, what's the actor's name, do you remember?
wasn't he one of the doctors?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel bad for that.
Yeah, I know. We're not Doctor Who fans, so
No.
I couldn't call it, and I'm sure we're gonna get some hate messages about it.
We have reason to not know his name. Come on, guys.
Promise nothing.
Well, to be honest, it wasn't really that much of a memorable season of Jessica Jones, so can't fault us for that.
It was very different. I didn't mind the fact that it was of a different tone, but that was the only thing I could accept from it. I think that's part of the reason why I never bothered to continue watching the season. I just didn't feel like it had enough weight to carry itself throughout that entire length of its story.
The only reason why I watched it through is because I felt like it was my nerdly duty.
Yeah.
like Jpar was saying,
Yeah.
halfway through, the story started getting convoluted and not only just filler, but where did Power Man go? All of a
Yeah,
sudden,
he
Power
just like
Man
disappears, and then he
disappears
comes
for a
back.
couple
It's like,
episodes.
hey, where'd you go?
And then he comes back and he's like, oh yeah, hey, I'm here again.
So that was more of a cameo than it was an actual support.
Well,
character
yeah,
almost.
because they're gonna build up to like a Power Man Luke Cage movie.
Yeah. Well, okay, I get that. But
Just catching up here too, because I kind of fell asleep in a couple of episodes. Didn't even bother trying to replay it on Netflix, even though it has a replay function. Just wanted to move on. So Power Man is different than Luke Cage.
No, it's the same guy.
oh,
Yeah, same dude.
They don't
That's just
actually-
his real name.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Alright.
think they call him Power Man in this.
They don't call him Power Man anymore in the comics. They call
No,
him Luke
it's just
Cage.
Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But he
So it is
used to
Luke
be
Cage.
he used to be called Power Man. That was his superhero name.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, just to cover the Power Man Luke Cage thing, is that from what I understand, the storyline was that he was still on the hunt for his wife's killer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Spoiler alert. They resolve that towards the end.
But it ends up
That's
being
for
Purple
Boo.
or ends up being Jessica Jones. Spoiler.
you're ruining it for me, guys.
Oh yeah. Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
Nope.
you
Plenty of spoilers.
flip the table.
Okay, so
So quickly, give a rating to this one.
Out of what?
I'll tell you
I got a
what.
2.5.
I'm not saying it's terrible. I still enjoy it. It's actually pretty good. I'm gonna give it a 3.5. Not as good as Daredevil. But it's still a decent series. It wasn't like awful.
It was awful.
You thought it was awful?
They killed the one good part of the show. Spoiler alert. They killed the one good part of the show, and that was David Tennant. He was Purple Man.
Right. Okay. That's his name.
Right at the end, and his powers didn't make any sense in the case of how it didn't control Jessica Jones.
Yeah, that never was explained, unfortunately.
His power gets amplified
Yeah.
So now he can control more people in a greater distance
Wider
or
range.
wider range, and then all of a sudden Jessica Jones is like, haha, got you. You still can't control me. Why? They don't really. There's so much
Ambiguity.
Is that even a word?
Ambiguous.
They're
Ambiguous.
They're ambiguous about her powers.
Yeah.
They're ambiguous about Power Man's powers. They're ambiguous about Purple Man.
Well, actually-
It was too much.
Yeah. There's
Actually, you're right. Wait. Slow down. I'm not giving it a 3.5. I might actually give this a 3.
Whoa. Because you
Yeah.
just realized the show wasn't as good
No,
as you thought.
because yeah, you're right, because I wasn't remembering back, I haven't watched it recently, but I just asked myself the most important question. Do I feel like rewatching this? The answer is no, I don't
No,
really
there's no-
feel like rewatching
Yeah,
it.
There's no rewatchability.
At this point, no.
Just maybe for David Tennant's performance, and that's about it. I find he is the big draw in this one. The villain, again, is the draw.
Yeah.
And for the Netflix series, most of the things I always do is I always watch the previous season to catch me up to the next season when it comes out. That's what I did with Daredevil. I'm not going to do that with Jessica Jones. Nope. No way. And what I was disappointed about Jessica Jones, towards the lead off, like, I think there was one memorable moment with the Purple Man mind controller guy with the freaky part in the restaurant, with his minions there all lined up, and she had to make a choice between the girl she was trying to save plus the guys hanging there. That was the only time that stuck out of my mind. That was actually, oh shit, things are going to get down, or the guy's actually playing to his power. But he's basically an evil Professor X. Let's be honest here. Same ability, right? Because Professor X.
Well, he's not a telekinetic like Professor X. He can only control minds, that's it.
It's the power of suggestion.
Yeah,
Any
yeah.
suggestion he gives,
Okay.
you have to do.
But it's very similar, right? So, like, a non-comic book person watching that and then watching an X-Men movie, they're like, similar characters, but I understand the difference. But, yeah, with Jessica Jones, I understand, like, the origin is that she was basically violated by this Purple Man, and she thought she killed him off, and all this other stuff, so she didn't want to use her powers anymore, because apparently he manipulated her to use the powers, and that's the reason why. About her how she got her powers, I don't know if you guys caught that in the series yet, is that like they flash back to when she got the powers in the car accident. That's the only thing I found interesting. And then can I just mention briefly season 2 of Daredevil, because they brought in a character from Jessica Jones in season 2 of Daredevil.
Right at the end.
I thought they would bring in
Which was Carrie. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, and they would bring in Eldon Henson into end of Jessica Jones, because they mentioned Jessica Jones, but they didn't do that. So they left all the stuff hanging in the air, and then they're trying to do 3 other series after this too. So it seems like they're trying to overload the audience with Jessica Jones, where the Daredevil is pretty cut and dry, and it's an enjoyable series because.
So you're saying you're giving Jessica Jones a 5 then?
Yeah, if it was like a golf score. But no, I would say it's basically a 1.5 for me.
Oh, wow! Jesus.
And the
I
thing
think it
is,
was that bad.
I like female superheroes. I appreciate that their approach that they're trying to do is push the female superheroes. But Jessica Jones just seemed like the emo superhero, where she just was kind of muddling along for most of the season. Then she finally wanted to kill him.
All right. So 3, 1.5,
2.5.
2.5.
I think I was kind of leaning on a 2.5 myself, too.
Okay, so
Nice.
2.5.
But again, you guys have to remember I have only seen a portion of it with all these spoilers now thrown in my face.
It doesn't
Did you
get
see the whole
better.
thing? I thought you
Right.
did.
No, I never
You're
did.
lucky.
No. But
You won't get that time
But
back.
here, you know what I really found was really interesting? Everyone made points that, for me, are what really got my attention. For instance, David Tennant, thank you. Yeah, he's actually shown me that he's capable of different ranges of I don't know, I want to call it so much emotion, different ranges of acting abilities, I think. He's actually, to me, he really made an interesting villain in this particular season, or series, I should say. And having said that, for the brief moment I had seen him, kind of touched upon what I thought was the driving force of Jessica Jones as a show, essentially, which was superhero, but not superhero, almost like the Hancock of Marvel superheroes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
say that.
So,
too.
yeah, we got someone who clearly doesn't want to be the center of attention, doesn't want to be the one held responsible to put these powers to good use. However, she knows she's capable of it. She knows that she's more than willing to do it so long as it's in her favor. And what was in her favor was obviously to get rid of Mr. Purple, I guess is what they're calling him.
Purple Man.
Purple Man.
Sorry, Purple. Grape juice, purple juice, whatever, same thing.
Great man.
Great man. The point, I will say this though, because of his character and because of the actor behind the character, was about it the only reason why I might have considered going back to the series to finish it.
And they took him out.
Maybe not so much my nerdly duty, because I've never really give a rat's ass, honestly, about characters like Jessica Jones. There was obviously more of the core characters that I fell in love with as a kid, and she was certainly not one. So I don't mind the way Marvel is ultimately going with all these shows, and kind of like what you had said, it had to do with the tie-in of all these shows to lead up to something. Whether Jessica Jones was the driving force or not, I don't know, and I really don't care. But I love to see how they're doing it. The Daredevil, and all these others. We're talking Power Man and so on. Punisher, obviously, was another show. I can name them all, but the point of the matter is that these are all characters that have their own story, and Jessica Jones had very little of it. So
Yes.
that's it. 2.5.
Great point.
All right, so we're running out of time again, of course. So quickly, now we're going to talk about Daredevil Season 2, which introduces a well-loved character, at least from when I grew up, and I know a lot of people growing up who read Marvel Comics really enjoyed this character. The Punisher debuts to the MCU in Daredevil. What did you think of this impact, Myles?
Daredevil Season 2. So I have mixed emotions with that one as well. Only because we're being introduced to new people, and I think you need more story for them to have character development. But I really liked it again. Amazing choreography, amazing action, dark undertones. We get really cool side characters, Punisher, Elektra, and we get Fisk again, who was my favorite in Season 1. Spoiler alert! There's going to be
That was a cool part. I actually got really pumped up when they started walking up to him, and I'm like, oh, it's Fisk.
There was a lot of fan service that was done in Season 2. There was at least 3 different Punisher story arcs that happened, where he's trying to find the people that killed his family. Spoiler alert. He's also... he goes to jail, and now you have somebody that's been killing people, and just any criminal, regardless of what they did, they're dead. Now he's in jail with them. Spoiler alert, there's another one. There's just... So, it was really good, long story short, but I do have my reservations about it as well.
Okay. Boo, first impressions, and then we'll do what you didn't like after Myles, and then we'll do a quick rate, because we gotta be fast here.
Yeah, no, I was thrilled actually more so this season than I was the first. It was just as much the character development. I think it had more to do with the introduction of these new characters, as you guys had all said. It was the merging of all these universes, which happen on different levels and different tones. One of which was my favorite was Fisk. He didn't. You know what? They could have overdone it with Fisk. They could have heaved him into every potential episode just to say he's always in the background. Because yeah, we get it. He's in jail again. Spoiler alert. I just love the fact though that he was, boom in our faces. Yeah, he's got some say in the matter, even though he's in jail. But at the same time, it was maybe 2-3 episodes into it that he had come and gone, and that was it. That's all they fed us.
I think that's all they needed, because they're probably building up to something better,
which was beautifully done, and I think that's what I loved about it the most. I didn't feel like I was not given enough Fisk, which sounds a little odd. But anyway, there was that. There was Punisher. For me, Elektra was really the character I wanted to be absolutely sure was going to work well in cohesion with the Daredevil character, because Daredevil has his own tone, Elektra had her other tone, and it had more to do with almost like this renegade ninja, if I can call her that. She's very much an assassin, at a skill level, but she's also someone with a human heart who kind of had it hidden or broken at some point, and she kept it purposely hidden so that when it got to the point where she had actually, I guess met Matt Murdock when they were younger, it broke that wall that she had always put up, I guess, to be able to be strong and very much a character of her own. Anyway, I just love the fact that it was a tie of all these characters. Sorry.
I actually really enjoyed John Bernthal as the Punisher. That was great. I'm going to tell you something. I didn't really like Elektra in this. I was expecting her to be better. I wanted her to have the red outfit. She never put it on. I just...
Right
at the end.
Yeah.
Did she?
The custom-made outfit.
But it wasn't like her outfit. It was like some other kind of outfit. Yeah, it wasn't quite the same. I don't know. I felt like Elektra could have been done a lot better. I'm not even sure if I even really liked the actress that much. That was kind of disappointing for me on this one, and I felt I actually enjoyed the first season better.
Well, for me, this season 2 was better than season 1. I didn't think it would be possible, but since the announcement of the Punisher being on the show, I knew that I was expecting a lot higher expectations of the show, and just the Punisher side. I was kind of worried at the middle of the season. I thought that there'd be putting him away, but then they tied it up with Kingpin, which was fantastic, and so many good fight scenes. And the hallway scene from season 1, they outdid it in season 2 twice.
Yep.
Twice.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
So yeah, like they just gave us so much fan service and so much things that we want to see. And I don't know, do you want to talk? Like you brought up Elektra, that she was kind of the downside too. Like yeah, Elektra was cool, and then
You kept saying Electro.
Electro.
I heard Electra. I heard Electra.
Oh, I'm sorry. I heard Electro.
Okay.
My bad.
Okay, this would be a different movie if Daredevil was making out with Electro, okay?
So yeah, Elektra. I saw what they did at the end. So I'm guessing that's part of the comic book lore too, and that whole thing with like how both were recruited and the whole secret society and all that stuff leads up to something I want to see in season 3. So it's a nice little cliffhanger.
And Myles? So we're back to you. So tell me, give me your rating and tell me what your gripes are, why you're giving it that rating.
I'm going to give it a 3.
Oh, now you're giving this one a 3.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
So that's below season 1.
Yeah, season 1 was better for me. Season 2, I found they did too much Jessica Jonesian, if you will. They started introducing some sexual tension to the mix, like Jessica Jones did. But for me, it, like you said, it was Elektra. And I don't think it was the actress's fault. It was how they wrote her in. They did the same thing they did with Jessica Jones with Power Man, is all of a sudden she disappears. And you don't really know where she is, and then all of a sudden she pops up in an airport, and she's fighting some rando. And you're like, okay, what is going on? Who hired this guy? You don't really... You're just sitting there, like, hanging on, trying to grasp what they're trying to get at. And I don't like that. I don't like that confusion. But like Zubert said, the action was really good, so that's what kept the momentum going for me. And I hate to say it, but the Fisk thing, for me, I didn't like it near the end.
Oh, no?
Spoiler alert. When the Punisher leaves jail, he gets out of jail, that was a little weak for me. How he gets out was weak. And then when he is out, people think that he's killing people, and you think it's Fisk doing it, but then it's not Fisk, it's somebody else. I don't know. I won't spoil
that's
who it is.
right. That
And that confusion,
right.
like they didn't
about
really leave that clear enough for me. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh my god, they're Jessica Jonesing again. So that brought down the score for me. It would have been perfect if they just would have been a little bit clearer with where Elektra was fitting in, or where she was going, what she was doing, and who the hell was trying to frame Punisher. Like, that was stupid. The misdirection. Like, why did Fisk want him out?
I remember now.
Why did Fisk want him out then in the first place? It made it seem like, hey, you go out and you keep doing your thing, and then you find out that Fisk wasn't really doing what he said he was going to do?
I get you. I get what you're
Okay,
saying.
anyway, so 3 out of 5.
All right, Boo. Rating and why?
You know what? I kind of feel it's the same. What did I get the other one? Was it 3.5?
What, Jessica Jones? Or
No, you gave Daredevil
season
4.
one. Season
You
one.
gave season 1 4, didn't you?
Was it a 4? Yeah.
I think so.
Because I kind of feel like they're both on par the same. For me, I got the same level of energy that I got at season 1. So yeah, I'm gonna honestly, genuinely say 4 out of 5. I get that some key aspects of the season just kind of lost its footing a little bit there. So I know what you're trying to say there, Myles, but I don't know. Ultimately, by the end of the second season, I still felt like I had enjoyed it enough to say that it wasn't enough of a disappointment. The Jessica Jonesing part, I see what you're getting at. You know what? You throw in any level of sexual tension in any given moment, it becomes a romantic drama, and I think that just becomes a label almost all in itself. I don't want that to ever happen. Comics clearly have that sexual tension between characters in their own way, but I know what you're saying. The way they wrote Elektra in like right from the beginning, she just happens to be like, stalking him in his apartment, just sitting on his couch, and then he just obviously senses her in the room, But anyhow, I felt like, given the fact that all these characters were very interesting throughout their entire development of the season, that had enough for me to really enjoy it. So season 2, definitely 4 out of 5.
Okay. I'm going to go 3.5 on this one. It's actually one less than what I think the first season. I think it didn't do as good as the first season. I like the pacing better the first season. I like how they slowly developed Daredevil in the first season. I found this second one, there was a lot of good stuff, a lot of good fights. I liked Punisher. I liked the little sneak peek at Kingpin again. Didn't like Elektra. I didn't like how that played out. And I don't know, I felt they should have been getting more into the Defender story already. If this is direction that's going to Netflix, it should be in that direction already, so I feel like this one's a 3.5. Not as good as the first season, in my opinion, but I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with the Punisher character.
Yeah, for their own series, right? The original series for the Punisher, the spinoff.
Right.
That'd be great. They might tie some Defenders in that one too, but my guess will probably be Luke Cage.
So
yeah, just to wrap up mine there, I say it's 4. Basically, it's the same points everyone brought up for it. Against it is basically what Myles said and what you said, Jpar, about the Elektra character. And also with the secondary characters, Jpar and Wool, and what am I forgetting?
Eldon Henson.
Foggy.
See, one Foggy.
Foggy and Karen Page shows the character.
Right, yeah. So basically, I understand about Foggy. Basically, he retreaded back to season 1 where he got pissed off with Daredevil, his good friend.
We saw that coming, though.
Yeah, exactly. And then the whole thing with Elektra and Karen Page. Dramatics. So that's basically something that we didn't really need to see. So.
Alright, so, and you touched upon something saying, like, yeah, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, we're going to start touching upon these Defenders. In theory, that's where we're going with these Netflix movies. Yep. We're going to see a Luke Cage series, we're going to see an Iron Fist, we're going to see Defenders. Punisher's going to get his own. You know what? I read the other day they're going to have a Moon Knight, Ghost Rider, and Blade the Vampire Hunter series on Netflix. Ooh, are they going too far with this? Are you guys excited about this?
Only for one of those 3 you just said. Moon Knight. He's a really cool character.
Is he? Okay.
He's basically like a more sane Deadpool, if you will. He's got multiple personalities. He worships the moon god. He's the only person that beat Deadpool in a one-on-one sword fight.
Oh, wow.
Okay, didn't know that.
Quick, cool pro there.
Another spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Well, for comics, I guess. So, are you excited for this? You're excited to see any of these? Do you think this is like? I don't even know if we're gonna see all these.
It's the first I've heard of these 3, to be honest with you.
Well, I kind of read it in the news.
Really?
That's like a rumor that's coming up lately. That I heard that Moon Knight, Ghost Rider, and Blade.
That's one I would say tread lightly. Ghost Rider, especially because that's one that's already been flopped a couple of times. I mean, it was harder and harder to grasp. Mr. Cage as his Knight Rider.
I think they should just put
Knight Rider. Sorry, Knight Rider. I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right.
Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Where's Kit? Transform into Kit there in the meantime.
Here's look at the line like Kit.
That's right. I think it'd be interesting if they put Blade and Ghost Rider together. I think they both have like that supernatural thing. If them two had a series together, maybe it'd be more interesting.
Yeah, I could see that. It would carry more weight than just on their own, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, I think it's overall it's getting saturated, but that's kind of like another topic about
actually,
in the superhero market. But yeah, when it comes to Netflix, though, yeah, they should have stopped at Nick Cage because Iron Fist. Yeah, I'm a geek, but I'm not a hardcore geek where I know all the Marvel comic book heroes. I have no idea who he is.
Well, I think once you see Doctor Strange and they introduce magic, finally,
yes,
yeah.
I think it's going to really make you excited for Iron Fist.
Exactly. That's what they're waiting for. That's why we haven't seen Iron Fist yet, because they want to introduce Doctor Strange first, because he's the magic guy in Marvel.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Iron Fist abilities do rely on magic.
Yes.
Fair enough. Okay, so I'll give it a chance. But yeah, they shouldn't go retraining again and making more Marvel things. If they want to create the Defenders, go ahead and do that. And then go back with the same series over and over again.
But as long as we keep watching them, they're going to keep making them.
So true.
Alright, so we really have run out of time on this. So that's our review for the Netflix series Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Daredevil Season 2. If you have different thoughts, please let us know in the comments below. And stay tuned, we're going to introduce a new game called Fix That Movie.